Why are the Japanese so afraid of the Soviet Union? The Soviet Union's way of dealing with the Japs is to be the first to come and the last to go. One Japs said he was a little cold. The Soviet Union's big brother immediately arranged a fire to warm him up. When the little Japs came out, they were happy to turn into a pile of ashes. This Japs got a cold. The Soviet Union's big brother was afraid that he would be uncomfortable, so he threw him directly off the cliff. Because the weather was too cold, the Japs got frostbite on their feet. The Soviet Union's big brother immediately arranged for treatment and then sent him out to reincarnate early. The other Japs was so hungry that they went to the kitchen to have a meal in the middle of the night. The Soviet Union's big brother was afraid that he could not digest it, so he hurried over to help him. If he dared to run away, he would give them a few peanuts. Seeing the big brother treat them so well, some Japs were moved to tears. This is the end of the Japs' turn to be the Soviet Union's conquerors. If you see that there is a kind of inexplicable comfort in your heart, please put the beautiful work in the comment area. Just a few days ago, the Japs were still there to show off their martial arts and to promote the spirit of the martial arts. And to shout to eliminate all Soviet tank troops. But in the next second, these Japs went straight to the bathroom. Because in front of the Soviet Union's tank, the Japs' lives were trampled like a building. The fact also proves the spirit of the martial arts that can't carry a tank. Seeing this, the Japs officers were furious. They formed a suicide squad on the spot and ordered a truck full of oil to crash into the tank, thereby blocking the tank's advance. They also forced some Koreans to put bombs on the island and ran under the tank as human bombs, triggering a suicide attack. Not to mention the effect is really good. Due to the lack of infantry cooperation in the Soviet Union's tank troops, it is difficult to make quick response. The Soviet Union's tank troops were soon blown up by the Japs. The Japs officers thought they had won. Just when he shouted, the next second, they went straight to the bathroom. Hundreds of thousands of tanks came to them. It turned out that the front was just a reconnaissance unit, and the rear was the main force. But for the Japs, they tried their best. This is not a war. This is obviously a grandfather teaching his grandson. The Japs ran away as soon as they saw it. This is the so-called spirit of the martial arts. In the end, all the remaining 600,000 Japs were destroyed. Although they are a bunch of garbage, they can also be used as waste. So they sent them to the coldest Siberia. The temperature in Siberia is always below 40 degrees. The Soviet Union treated the prisoners very humane. They only need 18 hours a day to work. How comfortable it is to live a small life. The Soviet Union also gave them AG. They knew they were all boys. So they asked every Japanese to step on their flag. With the care of the Soviet Union, Siberia was filled with the light of justice. It is reasonable to say that the Soviet Union loves them so much. They should be grateful. But the Japs officers not only did not know how to be grateful, but also took the lead in making trouble. They asked the Soviet Union to comply with the Japanese-Indian Treaty and treat the prisoners well. This almost made the Soviet Union laugh out loud. Do you deserve to talk about the international treaty? Do you deserve it? Why didn't you talk about the international treaty in China? Then the old man put the Japs in the coffin. He was buried in the cemetery for a night. If it weren't for his life, he would have been burned to death. In order to manage these scumbags, the Soviet Union promoted the North Korean prisoners as spies. This operation was very hard. Because since 1910, North Korea has become a colony of Japan. During this period, they have done a lot of terrible things. They have lived under oppression for many years. They even arrested them as a dead team. They helped them block the bullets on the battlefield. So the North Koreans hated them for a long time. Now the North Korean people are in charge. And the old man is supporting them behind their backs. Of course, there is revenge and resentment. There must be a lot of fighting. But as time goes by, the Japs officers can't stand it anymore. He used to be a general. How could he stand this? He proposed a protest to incite a strike. The North Korean spies laughed out loud. Aren't you looking for a fight? I'm worried that I can't find an excuse to hit you. So the two sides quickly fought. Due to the impact on the production of the old man's factory, the old man gave them a knife. Let them kill each other. Fortunately, the Japs were suppressed before they could fight. But he didn't want the Japs' lives. Because he knew that the old man would take good care of him. This is the end of the Japs as war uniforms. In order not to waste these free laborers, the Soviet army called them to work at 40 degrees below zero. Then gave them a dog bite a day. Under the care of the old man, they jumped up again in the camp. Who knew that the Japs would take the opportunity to attack North Korea? Fortunately, the old man arrived in time and controlled the situation. The old man was really unbearable. He grabbed a few heads and made him eat a few peanuts. Just when they were about to shoot, a sailing order came in. Because Germany invaded the Soviet Union, these war uniforms have a place to fight. They can go to the battlefield to help them block bullets. So he asked them to wear the Soviet Army's war uniforms. The old man is also a sensible person. He doesn't force anyone to go. They all volunteered to participate. Seeing them so passionate, the old man also rewarded them with a car ride. At this time, the battlefield was full of smoke. The German army had already set up the machine gun and waited for them. Because of the shortage of supplies, only a few dozen people could get a gun. Wait for the people in front to fall, and then pick up the gun. In order to thank the old man for his care over the years, before the Soviet army finished speaking, they rushed up to block the bullets. Seeing the Germans so passionate, the German army immediately ordered to shoot. There was a round of indiscriminate shooting. All the Japs who retreated were killed. There was a Soviet army in the back. There was a German cannon in front. Now, except for death, there seems to be no other choice. After the German bullets are finished, the Japs who survived are no longer in danger. That scene is really a pain. It's really a good reincarnation. If you look up, you can see that the sky has forgiven the water. It is not entirely calculated that 700,000 Japs have been captured. Under the care of the Soviet old man, there are less than 30,000 left. As for this behavior, I still want to give the old man a difference. I should send them all to meet God. Don't leave any. I don't know how many stars you have in front of the screen. Type it in the comment area.